do want to say again what a privilege it's been for me to be able to be with you again here. And I want to say again how much I appreciate your pastor and his deep understanding of the Bible. I preach for a lot of men, and some of them know God and love God, and love and study the Bible, but they don't have a deep understanding of the Bible. You're blessed because your pastor has a deep understanding of the Bible. So could I encourage you, when your preacher is up here talking, preaching, teaching, not to be talking among yourself? That kind of bothers me when I'm up preaching and people just got their own little conversation, because, you know, kids and teenagers and adults. When he's up here preaching, don't be popping bubbles, blowing bubbles, and popping bubbles in church. Y'all listening to him? Don't be fooling with your phone unless he's asking you to look something up. Y'all with me? There are very few preachers and very few churches who have preachers that have a deep understanding of the Bible. You have that here. I feel led of the Lord to say that. You have that here. You ought to respect that and glean everything you can out of what God's trying to teach you through a man that understands the Bible. Brother Ken, I love you. I thank God for you. Church, love him, love on him, appreciate what God has given to you here. It's my privilege to preach in your pulpit. Revelation chapter number 13. Pastor asked me to preach and teach about AI. That stands for artificial intelligence. So I have been speaking to you about that. If you found your place in Revelation 13, let me just say how much I do appreciate the meals every night and the use of the prophet's chamber. I've started writing my thank you cards and leaving them with the church because so many of them return to me in the mail months after I send them. So I want you to know how grateful that I am for the opportunity to serve you this week. Revelation chapter number 13. I want to notice verse 14 through 18 again tonight. Verse 14 says of the false prophet, "And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. I'm speaking again from this passage, and as Pastor has already said, reminding you that there is no such thing as artificial intelligence. No such thing as artificial intelligence, okay? Intelligence, by definition, can only come from living being and living personhood, okay? If it is artificial, it does not possess intelligence. There is and can be no such thing as artificial intelligence. I believe that AI is actually angel intelligence. There has to be a sentient mind. Are you with me? A sentient, living intelligence. If it is intelligent at all. Okay? And they have convinced us that when it comes to computers and the internet, that this is now all controlled by AI. If you have any of the new phones and devices, it tells you on the phone that it is AI generated. Everything on there. The internet is AI controlled. There is some intelligence controlling it, and it is not artificial. Are you with me? Some mind is thinking through it. All right? So we're exploring that this intelligence is, I believe at least, fallen angel intelligence. So we began in Genesis 3 and then Daniel 12 on the first night. And last night we were right here in Revelation 13. And I explained the meaning of these words, that the word image, the image of the beast, is the Greek word icon. The word count in verse 18 means to compute. We talked about that word live. The false prophet calls the image of the beast to live, and that is the word pneuma, as Pastor said. It means spirit, a living spirit being. Here's an image that mankind has made, and the false prophet calls it some living spirit being and personality to enter into the image, to animate it, and give it sentient intelligence, because we are told in verse 15 that the image has the ability to speak. Okay? How do we explain that? The icon has a living spirit being imparted into it so that it has sentient intelligence through the living spirit being in it, so that it has the ability to speak and communicate. How do we explain that? What does that look like? What does that sound like to you? Is there anything like that already going on in the world? All right. Computers and the internet, technology are things that man has made, just like the image of the beast is something that is said in the text to be man-made. But they're telling us that sentient intelligence has entered into it, making it alive with its own life, with its own intelligence, where it is thinking and learning for itself. They call it machine learning. You understand, machines can't learn. That's impossible.
Yeah. Right.
All right? Unless there is a sentient living being inside of the machine that is learning and thinking for it. Are you with me? Right. Okay. So I want you to see three things tonight here in Revelation chapter 3 as to what this image of the beast that has this living sentient spirit being inside of it, three things that it will control. Number one, I want you to notice in this passage, verse 14 and 15, that whatever this is that I believe is compatible with AI today, whatever it is, or whatever you choose to believe about it, we must all agree that, first of all, it will control all worship. Did you see that in the passage, verse number 14 and 15, that it will control all worship, right? And it will cause, this image here will speak and cause all mankind to bow down and worship the image of the beast. Is that what the text says? It's going to control worship. Okay? You with me?
Yes, sir.
Worship. In other words, whatever this device is, this image, filled with this living spirit and intelligence, whatever it is going to be worshiped by mankind. Mankind will worship this idol. That makes sense? It will be worshiped. Now I'm going to close on that here in just a little bit. All right? Worship. Did you know today that those who embrace AI refer to AI as God? Did you know tonight that there is a church called the Church of AI, and it has the largest membership of any church in the world? Before the AI church, the Church of O, they called it, or the Church of Oprah Winfrey, was the largest church in the whole world. All right, AI, the Church of AI, has surpassed the Church of O, and there are literally people on this planet who are members of the Church of AI who worship AI, or what they call the AI God. When they are challenged as to why they would say that AI or the internet intelligence is God, and why should there be a church of AI to the AI God, they say this about AI: what do you call something that is omniscient? They said AI knows everything. It knows everything. What do you call something that is omniscient? They say you call something that is omniscient God, because we all know, according to the Bible, God is omniscient. Number two, they refer to AI as God because they say it is not only omniscient, they say it is omnipresent as well. They say that AI is omnipresent because it is everywhere. There is nowhere in our world where it does not exist. It sees us wherever we are. It surveils us. The AI, or the internet, knows where you are, what you are doing at all time. Therefore, they conclude that the internet, or as it is known today, the AI must be God, not only because it is omniscient, but because it is omnipresent. They say, what do you call something or someone who is everywhere? It must be God. Now, we know about the God of the Bible that He is omniscient and He is omnipresent. He is everywhere all at once. Number three, they say that AI is God and should be worshiped as God, and all men should become a member of the Church of AI, because AI is not only omniscient and omnipresent, but that it is omnipotent. What does it mean to be omnipotent? It means to have all power and to be in control. And so they say that AI is in control of the whole world. It controls our electricity. It controls our water. It controls our finances. All of our accounts are online. The banking is online. All banks are tied to the Why? Everything in the whole world is tied to the online system. It controls everything. Therefore, they conclude it must be omnipotent. And what would you call something that is omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent? They say those are attributes that only God Himself possesses. Therefore, AI must be God. That is their conclusion, and to be worshiped as God. Okay? Do you see where they're coming from? All right? Now, what do we learn about this image of the beast that all mankind are going to worship? Okay? All men are going to be forced to bow down and worship this image as God, to own its deity. All right? Number two, I want to talk about a second thing. Give you three things and then make an application to these three. Number two. Number one, we notice that whatever this image of the beast with a sentient living spirit being in it is here in Revelation 13, that number one, it will control worship. Number two, it will control wealth. It will control all wealth. Is that right here in the text? It's going to control worship. All humans will be forced to receive this mark and to bow down and to worship this image of the beast. But then we learn in verse 16, 17, and 18 that the mark of this beast from this image will control all buying and selling. Is that what it says? And that no man will be able to buy or to sell without the name and the number of the beast whose image the world is forced to bow down and worship. So whatever this is, it will control all worship, and the text is crystal clear. It will control all wealth. It will govern all wealth. You will have nothing. You will buy nothing. You will sell nothing. You will have nothing without this image, its name, and its number. Is that what it says in the passage? Okay. Does that sound like anything's already happening? Did we deal with this in the Q&A last night? That already so much of our financial life is an internet transaction. Right? Very few people carry cash anymore, and most all banking is done digitally. It's all done online through the internet. Most of your checks are from your employer are by direct deposit. You don't generally even get checks much anymore. Most people don't even go to the bank anymore. It is directly deposited through the internet into their account. And then they just go online. They go to Walmart. People don't go to Walmart much anymore, do they? They just go online and use the internet and order it through the internet. It comes right out of their account. Walmart delivers it to their door via, FedEx or UPS or whatever, right? You go on Amazon. You You have your money through the internet, just directly deposit into your account. No change of hands of check or of cash. You go on Amazon. You just order it online. You just use the internet. It comes right out of your account. No money ever passes in your hand. Don't even have to leave your house. It's all done through the internet. Anything like that going on in your life? Does that seem something foreign, strange, and unusual? It doesn't have to be just Walmart or Amazon. Why, there's any number of sites. Why, everywhere, every business in the world. You can just go right online, buy what you want online. It's all done digitally through the internet without you having to leave your home. And all you need is this, or an iPad, or a computer. It's all you have to have. Are you listening to me? All right. And on the rare occasion that you do go out of your house and you do go down to the store, then of course you've got that piece of plastic there, right? You've got that piece of plastic, and you can stick it in, you can stick the chip into the machine like this, or you can slide it down through there like this, or why it's so easy today at the machine or even the pump. You can just tap it now, boom, you're done. Okay? What they're telling us concerning both this here, this paper stuff, and this thing here, you already know this is going obsolete. You already know that there are many businesses today that don't accept cash anymore. It is card transactions only, no cash, right? They're telling us that though you already know this is going obsolete fast, this soon will be obsolete, because you won't need this when you have this in here, or as you all know, Harari says, somewhere under the skin. Okay? They're telling us that by the year 2030, you won't need this anymore. I know that terrifies some of you. You won't need this anymore. Your iPad, you won't need that anymore. By 2030, you're not going to even need to buy a computer. This is going to be so wonderful for you. It's going to save you so much money. You won't need this, your iPad or your computer anymore, because all of this will now be in here under your skin. You will be the computer. You won't have the internet through this. You will have the internet in here, they say, by 2030. When you want to call somebody, you just say to yourself, call Brother Ken Myers, and you will talk to Brother Ken Myers with the computer that is inside of you. This has already been put inside of human beings many, many times, okay? This is not far-fetched. It's already happening. You want to look something up on the internet, you do that with your own mind. Did you know that this past year in January at the Davos meeting of the World Economic Forum, they offered to businesses represented at the World Economic Forum a little piece that they could require their employees to wear on their ear that would allow the employer to see their thoughts while they were doing their job and sitting at their desks. That they could not only hear your conversations, but literally through that device now they can read your mind. Have you ever considered that? Well, in 5 years you will be the phone. You will be the computer. You will have the internet inside of you. You won't need that stuff anymore. Are you listening to me? Okay? Now, you understand that what Revelation 13, Revelation 6, Revelation 18, all these 3 chapters in the Bible tell us about wealth or finances in the end times, is that the Bible predicts in these 3 chapters that there is going to be an absolute, total, complete, global financial collapse. Did you know the Bible teaches that? That there is going to be, read Revelation 6, right? The 3rd seal, when it's open, read all of Revelation chapter 18. And what we're looking at here in Revelation 13, the Bible clearly predicts there is going to be a global financial collapse. James chapter 5, verse 1 through 6 also predicts this global financial collapse before the world returns. It's already happening. You knew that, right? that a financial collapse is being engineered. A financial collapse is being engineered in America and every other nation on the face of the earth. America's bankrupt. China's bankrupt. Russia's bankrupt. Almost every nation on earth is in financial collapse and bankruptcy. Here in America, we have a debt right now. Just our national debt is over $36 trillion, and before Joe Biden goes out of office on January 20th, we will be at $37 trillion in debt. And Janet Yellen just predicted today that by the year 2030, America will be in debt to the tune of $50 trillion. How many of you know how many actual American dollars there are in print today? Anybody know? Okay. There's about $45 trillion in actual print all over the world today of American dollars, about 45 trillion. Okay? Only about 3 trillion of those are in the United States of America. So if you took the whole American population of 335 million people, the total amount of money in circulation inside of our country by American citizens is about $3 trillion, and there's about 45 trillion in circulation all over the world in the 195 nations that make up planet Earth. Did you get that? Okay. And we are in debt right now nearly at $37 trillion. By this time next year, $40 trillion. And by the end of 2029 to be in debt $50 trillion, which means we are in debt more dollars than there are in circulation. And there is a theory today known as MMT. It is modern monetary theory. Who here knows what modern monetary theory is? Oh, it's a brilliant, genius theory, and this is what it is. That you can print your way out of debt and spend your way out of debt. Okay? So if you are in debt and you can't borrow any more money because the interest that you pay as a nation every year is higher than your total military budget. Did you listen to that? Just the interest that we pay as a nation to all of our creditors is higher than the total amount of money we spend on our military in a year. Okay? It is absolutely impossible for America to pay down completely her financial debt because there are not enough dollars in print to do that. Y'all out there? Yeah. So the theory of modern monetary theory is, here's how we can fix it. We just keep printing more money. Crank up the Federal Reserve printing presses. They print more money, loaning that money they're printing to the federal government, who's paying all of these trillions of dollars of interest back to this reserve central banking, corruption, demonic, satanic system of central banking. Thomas Jefferson said he feared central banking more than all the standing armies of all the nations of the earth. All right? So our government can just keep borrowing more money from the central banking system known as the Federal Reserve that is not federal at all. Who just keeps printing more money and charging more interest as we go further and further into debt, spending and spending and spending and spending at an exorbitant rate. And somehow or another this is going to fix the problem. That is the problem. And it's an intentional problem because every nation on earth is intentionally collapsing their own economies. The Bible has predicted that this would happen, and out of this absolute financial ruin and collapse will come one economy, a one world economy with a one world global currency that they have already been telling us for several years now will be a CBDC. Do you know what that stands for? Central Bank Digital Currency. A cashless society where there is no cash money, actually, just a digital currency. It's all online currency, like cryptocurrency, like Elon Musk's Dogecoin or Bitcoin or whatever other cryptocurrencies where there's actually no printed money. There are no actual coins, no silver, no gold, nothing of the like, no nickel in there at all, just a digital idea of money that is passed around. Did you get that? CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. 2 years ago, President Biden ordered Congress to go on and make the legislation for the central bank digital currency, and They unanimously did that, Republican and Democrat, and have already launched what they call the Fed coin. All right, that's the American version of it, the Fed coin. Some people are already being paid in Fed coin with the intention that in the very near future, our system as we know it will end. Banking as we know it will end. All paper currencies will be abolished, not only here, but worldwide. And the entire world moves to one economy, one financial system. This will save us all. One currency, central bank digital currencies, all controlled by the AI of the internet banking system. Did y'all get that? How many of you know how much a dollar is worth today? Anybody here know how much a $1 bill is actually worth? What its value actually is today? How much? All right, I'm going to tell you, and it's going to shock you, and I've heard this from multiple famed American economists, that today, right now in the United States of America, our dollar is worth 3 pennies, 3 cents. Actually, they say 2.7 cents. I'm being generous. Let's go on and round it up to 3 cents on the dollar. Did you get that? When Donald Trump came into office in 2016, the dollar was worth about 71 cents. When he left office because of COVID and the stimulus checks, it was worth about 51 cents when Joe Biden came into office. Today, now at the end and close of Joe Biden's tenure, we have gone from the dollar being worth half, or 51 cents on the dollar, to being worth now 3 cents for a dollar. If you have a $100 bill in your pocket tonight, how much is that actually worth? Worth $3. That's what you got. You understand that? That's why a house today that costs $300,000 20 years ago would have only cost you $50,000. Are you listening to me? Maybe you got some money. Let's say you got $10,000 in your account, or maybe you got $50,000 in your IRA, and you think, boy, you know, I'm okay. I ain't hurting. You ain't, listen to me, you ain't gotten to hear as much as you think. Now, taking the guaranteed statistics on this, we are already 97% finished through and on our way to absolute financial collapse. We are 3 pennies. Are you listening to me? We are 3 pennies. We are 3 cents away from absolute financial collapse that our government and the governments of the world are engineering. Donald Trump's already said he can fix this by tariffs. He'll just tax China and Mexico and everybody else, Canada, and anybody else wants to try to sell something here, 100% tariff or 100% tax on anything they try to sell in America. And this will be good to bring jobs back to America. It's going to be wonderful, but he's already said, now y'all just going to have to get it through your thick skulls that, you know, the price of everything's got to go up. We make it all here in America. It's going to cost us, you know, we've been paying 6-year-old children to build this in China for 3 cents a day, you know, and I mean, we can't do that here in America. Y'all listening to me? The price of everything's going to go up, but don't worry, Mr. Trump says. It's going to be great because you're all going to be making $35,000 a year more when I get into office. You're going to be able to afford higher prices on everything. Oh, so what you're telling me is there's going to be more inflation, and you're guaranteeing us that our pay is going to keep up with and supersede inflation. But this is what I hear. This is what I hear. Are you listening to me? This is what I hear. I'm going to take 3 cents and make it 0 and introduce to you a new financial system. Not just throwing Trump under the bus. This is every nation on earth. This is happening everywhere. We are told in the Bible that whatever this is, whether it's AI or whatever this image with the sentient living being and intelligence that's inside it, it will control all wealth in the world. Do you know the Great Reset that was implemented in all nations of the earth in 2020, coinciding with the COVID pandemic scandemic, that it has 8 goals. 8 goals in the Great Reset. Who knows what the first goal of the Great Reset is? Anybody remember? Well, you've seen it on your phone many times. It's been quoted over and over. Who knows what the first goal of the Great Reset is? You will own nothing and be happy. Okay? I didn't need the World Economic Forum tell me that. I read that here in Revelation 13. It may not be quoted identical, but that's what we are reading about. Are you listening to me? It is going to control worship, and it is going to control wealth. Number 3, my last point, and then I'm going to make some practical application. All right, number 3, not only is whatever we're looking at here in this sentient, living spirit being inside of this image, not only is it going to control all worship, because it will be declared as God, not only will it control all wealth, number 3, it's going to control all work. All work. Now, you'll notice again there in verse 16 through 18 that whatever this is that looks like AI to me, it is not going to control everything that can be bought, but also everything that can be sold. You will not have the ability to buy or sell without this. It will control the buying, your spending, but also the selling thereof. Selling means industry. It means work. This is the workforce. The ability to sell is how money is made. Are you with me? Whoever you're working for right now is paying you. They're paying you to do something they can sell and make money on. All right? Work. Whatever this is, it will control worship, wealth, and work. It's going to control all work. Does this have any application to AI and what it's doing in the world right now? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay? From 1990 to 2010, AI took over 670,000 jobs here in the United States of America. Okay? We call it automation, and that is that they can make robots or machines and put intelligence inside of those machines so that those machines can do your job better than you can do your job. Y'all feeling all right out there? Okay, so here's what I want to just so you'll know, I'm going to give an invitation when I'm done tonight. No Q&A. I think some of you last night checked out during the preaching because you thought, man, we're going to have an hour of Q&A when this is over. We ain't ever getting out of here. All right, you getting out earlier tonight. All right, so I want you to give me your undivided attention. Don't check out. Okay, and there's a reason why I want to give an invitation and not do a Q&A tonight, and it's not just to relieve your burden of being here too long. Okay? Are you listening to me? The internet, this intelligence, this AI intelligence, however you want to define the A in it, all right? It has already, since the year 1990, cost us 670,000 jobs here in the United States of America, where workers have been replaced with intelligent automation that can do the job better than a human worker. Y'all got that? Okay. Now, this is what they tell us as to where we are in the AI takeover of the workforce and where we will be by the end of 2029. They tell us that globally, worldwide, by the end of 2029, AI will have taken over and replaced 1 billion jobs, 1 billion human workers on planet Earth, 1 billion. That in the United States of America alone, between now and the end of 2029, AI will take over 73 million jobs from human workers. All right? You got that? There are already many humans here in our country who are being fired. Fired. Okay? Now, I'm for what Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy says they're going to do through their DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, and I think most of the government workers probably do need to be fired, and we do need to trim the fat. You understand all that? And we're all, like, how many of you are for that? We've got too many people that work 1 day a week and make $150,000, $250,000 a year with some government job that is not needed at all. What they'll do is they'll bait us up with that. See there, boy, we're trimming the fat. We're saving everybody a lot of money. We're getting rid of a lot of these. They ain't just going to plan on getting rid of a bunch of government workers. They ain't planning on getting rid of a whole bunch more. 73 million workers in the U.S. by the end of 2029. You got that? How many of you already hear of companies mass firing, mass layoffs of American jobs all over the country? Why? Why would we do? Why would we just start firing millions of human beings, 1 billion across the planet by the end of 2029, and 73 million Americans let go from their job by the end of 2029? Why would they do it? Because they can be replaced with AI that can do their job better than they can. I have men in my church who have very high up positions in the largest furniture factories in North Mississippi. Their CEOs send them to AI conferences, 2 or 3 a year, to learn how to get rid of the workers in these factories by implementing automated AI to do their jobs. Okay? You are being conditioned, and I want all you young people to listen. You have been being conditioned over the last 20 years to not work, to made to believe that you don't need to work and that work is a 4-letter cuss word. That manual labor is the president of Mexico. Manual labor is not the president of Mexico. If you're here and you're under the age of 30, there is an intentional work happening in the world to destroy your work ethic, make you lazy. The president of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, said that enslave all of the younger people on earth, 30 and under. When asked how they would do that and completely control them, they said through drugs and video games. Well, they need to work. They don't need to work. We'll give them universal basic income and keep them hooked and addicted to drugs and video games. We don't need them. We can get it done better and much, much cheaper through automated AI. All right, so here's the thing about AI replacing your job. It affects everything. It affects all office jobs. It affects trucking, as now automobiles and even trucks can drive on their own without human labor. This affects everything. This manufacturing, absolutely every field, including even the medical field. And I drive in my travels and preach through these very, very, very large metropolis cities of the United States of America, and I see signs. I see medical signs. I advertise by the hospitals in Dallas and Houston and Atlanta and other large. Come in and get such and such automated AI surgery. No doctors, no nurses, don't have to worry about that. You can guarantee it'll be a perfect surgery for such and such amount of money from the AI surgeon. I'm telling you what I've seen with my own eyes. Somebody didn't tell me that. I've seen the signs. Are you listening to me? Because here's the thing about AI. All they have to do is buy it. All they have to do is buy the program. All they have to do is buy the bot. You understand that? And the cost is over. It's done. They don't have to pay it a weekly or a monthly salary. They don't have to give it a 401k. Don't have to help out with its insurance. Are you listening? Don't have to hold it to a 40-hour work week and pay it time and a half for any overtime. You don't have to, in fact, give it any days off or any hours off. It needs no vacations. It needs no sick days. It works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you just make that initial payment, and it's all money in your pocket from there. How many of you remember 3 months ago? The dock worker, the port worker strike, all on the eastern coast of the United States of America. Y'all remember that? When the port workers, we're talking about 3 months ago, it was the main news, they all went on strike. Y'all remember that? Wasn't going to unload a container, had billions and billions, in fact trillions of dollars worth of cargo that have already been bought either by our government or by the businesses. They've already paid the freight, had it shipped in, then you've got all these containers there, many of which are full of fruits and vegetables that will perish in days, trillions of dollars lost. Ruined in the containers. No one to unload the containers. You remember that? It went on for 3 or 4 days, and they said if this happens for 10 days or more, but if it gets to 10 days, it's the absolute ruination. People will die. There will be absolute financial collapse and destitution like we have never dreamed. Make the Great Depression of 1929 look like nothing. Okay, y'all remember that? And why were the dock workers striking? Well, there's two things. They had two demands of their employers. Two demands. I'm almost done. They had two demands. Number one, they were rightly angered that the same port workers on the West Coast, that is the state of Washington, Oregon, and California, working for the same companies, doing the exact same job, were making $35,000 a year more than those who had the same job from the same companies unloading the same ships and containers on the East Coast. And they said, it ain't right that you're paying them on the West Coast $35,000 a year more. We want to make what they make. I think that's fair, don't you? But their second demand was, while they were striking, is you have to do away with AI. You cannot. We know that you have already terminated many of our jobs and that you're using automated AI to unload these ships, and we know that your goal is by 2029 to replace every one of us. Every one of us are going to lose our jobs, whether we're on the East Coast in the Gulf or on the West Coast. That we know your intention is through AI automation to destroy every one of our jobs, replace us, and leave us in destitution. No severance or anything, and we won't. You remember they had it on all their signs. AI must be stopped. We're not unloading another container, and you ain't got enough AI yet to replace all of us. We'll bring into absolute financial ruination if you don't do away with the AI. And then you'll remember what stopped the strike. Governor Ron DeSantis said, strike all you want to. I'll call up the National Guard. The National Guard can unload all these ships. And then they all went back to work after 3 days with this promise. Then on January 20th, you know what happens on January 20th, don't you? On January 20th, they would strike again and strike until all their demands were met. Okay, so here's what's happening in the world. AI is taking over worship. It is already taking over wealth, and it's already taking over work. Okay, and its engineers and the tech geeks tell us that its control of worship, wealth, and work will be complete by the end of 2029. I don't know if that's true or not. God could obviously stop that if that's not in His timeline. This is their stated goal. Concerning AI, how does that compare to Revelation 13? Whatever this image with the sentient spirit being inside of it, whatever it is, it's going to control all worship, all wealth, and all work. That's what Revelation 13 says. Amen? All right, so you've got a few minutes left before I give my invitation. We ain't even been started up, but about 52 minutes. Amen? So we're doing good. Here's my conclusion. Has what I have said tonight, last night, or Monday night really in any practical way got anything to do with any of us here? Is this something that I need to know about? Is this something that I need to be concerned about? Is this something that affects me in any way now or could in any way affect me in the future? So if you have this in here tonight, get it out. Almost done. You just get it out. It's okay. I have one in my hand, so, I can't be too hard on you. Okay? If you don't have one of these in here tonight, you probably got it out in the car, or got one or two or three or more of such like kind of devices in your possession. I want to ask you a question. How much control does this have right now over your life? How dependent on this right now are you? Okay. From 2008, the iPhone came out in 2008. From 2008 till today, 16 years, use of one of these has increased by 400% in 16 years. The average human, I didn't just say American, the average human spends 12 hours a day on this or something like this. 12 hours a day. Okay? In some way on the internet, whether they're streaming their television, movies, texting, talking, surfing the internet, buying off the internet, trading off the internet, checking their banking account, whatever it is, 12 hours. How many hours are in a day?
24.
Still 24. And if humans are connected to this 12 hours a day, it means that 50% of your time, how many hours a day do you sleep? Okay, let's say that you get the average 8 hours a day. It means that you are awake 16 hours a day, which means 12 out of 16 hours a day, you're fooling with this or something like it. You with me? Checking Facebook, playing video games or online games or solitaire or whatever. This is now known, listen, 12 of 16 waking hours, on average, all humans on the earth, their attention is completely on this. When this service is over, some of you can't wait till the service is over. You, as I already mentioned at the beginning of the service, you're sneaking the peek. Well, even when God's Word is being preached or when we're supposed to be collectively worshiping God Almighty together, we're really in love with this. And for many of you, as soon as you won't do it tonight because I have already shamed you. But if I had not already shamed you, you would do tonight what you do at the end of every single service. And that is, you will frantically, at the last amen, if you wait until then, get this out and see what in the world you have missed. Most people treat this like it is a life support, like it's an insulin pump or an oxygen machine. If they didn't have this, they would be in an absolute panic. Okay? If it's true, in 12 hours out of every 24-hour day, in some way, people are connected to this or something like this with the internet is true, then we're at least 50% of the way already there to Revelation 13. Okay? 30% of children aged 2 and under, 30% of them can already operate this or an iPad. It has amazed me with my own grandchildren that when they were 2, my natural born ones, when they had reached the age of 2, they could operate this better than me, take the iPad and get on anything they wanted to get on, play any game they wanted to play. Most of them cannot talk intelligently yet. Should it be a cause of concern for us that a 2-year-old that cannot even form sentences yet or string 3 words intelligibly together can already get on this and navigate it better than I can? My 3-year-old now is impatient with me. He'll say, "Big Pop, I want to see this or that." And I'm like, "Give me the phone. What are you doing? It's right there. You can't wait around on you forever." Is it really a good idea based on what if you hadn't heard me preach any of this week, you didn't know any of this, that the Bible addresses these issues and gives us answers for them, you already know there's enough danger on here. Is it really a good thing for this to be our babysitters? You know how parents control their kids today, get them to behave, get them to sit down, shut up, and act like a human being rather than a raging animal. Just take this. Just shut up. Just take this. No, well, that's their pacifier. Oh. The kids say, "I want to see the iPad. What do I do to play my God?" Cycle out, pulling their hair out of their head. 3 years old. Go absolute meltdown. Just get the phone. Oh, they're fine now. Is it really good? Is it really a good idea to buy an 8-year-old one of these and just give it to them? This is most parents' babysitters today. Okay? Four years ago, the percentage was that 67% of men in America looked at pornography on their phone or whatever device online. 67%. This included professing Christians, non-Christians, 67% of men in general 4 years ago. The statistics this 3 weeks ago, 91% of men in America. 91% of males in this country who have gone through puberty are looking at pornography on the internet. I'm going to ask you again, I'm not quite done making my application. How much control does this have over you? This is an addiction, and whatever is an addiction is an idol. Whatever Revelation 13 is, it is an idol that has sentient life and intelligence in it, and men are worshiping it. And they'll gladly give up eternity. They will gladly give up their life. Are you listening to me? They'll gladly take the mark of the beast. I believe that the mark of the beast will be the internet implanted inside of a human being, just like I've been described. I think that's what it will be. When you receive it into your hand or your forehead, this mark is the internet downloaded into you. And perhaps for even some of you here, if you had to make a choice, it's Jesus or this. It's Jesus Christ. It's repentance of sin and faith, which is the total absolute commitment and surrender of your life to the Lordship of Jesus Christ. You can have that, or you can have this. The overwhelming majority of church members will choose this idol, this false god, over the one and only true God. Did you know, and I'm done, did you know that the number one cause of depression, the number one cause of ADD, the number one cause of ADHD, and the number one cause of bipolar disorder in America, all psychologists and psychiatrists are agreed, you can look it up, the number one cause for mental and emotional disorder is this. This makes tech zombies out of us. You don't believe it? Look at people. They're like zombies. You got people walking through the parking lot into oncoming traffic. You got people crossing the street. People get run over in this country every day, roached. Run smooth over, walking right out in the middle. They in the store, then they're running over and bumping into everybody. There people, you watch, but they're running into doors, hitting their head on doors, running into walls. I've had people come to me a number of times. They said, I'm depressed. I don't know why I'm depressed. I'm messed up. I'm miserable. I'm messed up. I talked to them about this, and maybe it's it. Maybe I don't know. I said, well, what about the phone? I don't know. Would you be willing to give it up for a month? Just get offline. Just get off. Don't get on Facebook. Don't get on YouTube. Don't whatever. All them other 10,000. Why don't you just try to get off? Why don't you just disconnect from all that? See if you get better. If you don't get better in 30 days, it's not the internet that's jacking you up. But if you do get better, then it would prove the psychologist, the psychiatrist right that the number one contributing factor to mental and emotional disorder and instability is this right here. This is messing with your mind. This is thinking for you. This is manipulating you. This is telling you what to think and how to feel. And this, and its social media platforms, it is a proven fact, does not make you more social, but antisocial. Now, you know one of my pet peeves drives me crazy, even with my own family, even my own flesh and blood kids, is that you can't sit down and just have a face-to-face, eyeball-to-eyeball conversation with anybody anymore. Because everybody you're trying to talk to is doing what? Yeah, what? Yeah, what? I didn't hear what? Like, you know, I try to talk to my kids. They're like, man, you know, won't you leave us alone? What you got to talk, you know? People can't sit down and have fellowship. They can't sit down and carry on a normal conversation with another human being because this has destroyed and disabled their abilities. I go into restaurants, I see husbands and wives sitting there across the table from each other, and both of them doing this right here. This is going to mess up your marriage. So, I got one of these. You do too. They can be helpful and useful, can't they? To have this is not necessarily a sin, is it? This is like anything. Money's fine until you start worshiping it. Your career and job, that's fine until you start worshiping it and living for it. You listening to me? Food is good until you start worshiping it. Well, this is good and helpful until it starts controlling your life and becomes an idol that you're worshiping that you cannot live without. So, here's what I challenge you to do. You're all sitting here saying, well, that ain't me. I'm not saying, preacher, I ain't been tempted, but there's no way that's me. So I would ask you to do this. Stand by your heads. Would you commit yourself right now to do two things? Number one, would you commit yourself to turn all the restricted modes on your phone? Would you do that? Everybody look up here before you bow your head. How many of you have the restricted mode turned on your devices? All right, 2 hands. All right, so I don't know nothing about it. When I buy one of these, which is rare because I've had this one 5 years. Yes, this is not a 5G phone, it's a 4G phone. If it'll keep working, I don't intend on getting rid of it. I do not leave the store with one of these until the tech who sells it to me turns all restricted modes on, where no profanity, no nudity, and no sex can come on my phone. No pornography and no profanity can come across my phone. Now, every Christian, are you listening to me? Every Christian ought to have the restricted mode turned on their phone. Okay? And if it's not, any of these young people could do it in 5 seconds for you. And if you young people don't have it on your phone, you need to get it on there right now. Would you do that? I asked this question into a room. I was preaching to 350 people. A lot of them were preachers. I asked this question. There were 2 women in the room raised their hand out of 350 people had restricted mode. I said, I know what's coming through your phone. Every one of you, I love you. I know what's coming through your phone. Don't tell me it ain't. You're lying. I'm not saying you're entertaining it. I'm not saying you're clicking on it and watching it. I know what you're being exposed to. You turn the restricted mode on your phone. If somebody here can't do it for you, and I guarantee it they can, I'm 100% sure they can, go back to your cell provider where you brought it. Take you 5 seconds. They'll turn it on for you. Number 2 tonight, would you commit yourself at times to fast from this? Lay it down, walk away, get in the car, go somewhere, go for a walk, go pray. You and your wife or you and your family, you go out. Let's leave all that at home. Let's bow our heads and close our eyes. Brother Ben, would you come play something for us tonight? Brothers and sisters, this has God-like control over us. This is thinking for us. This is feeling for us. It is manipulating us. It is exposing us to demonic, satanic images, influences, voices, thoughts, ideas that are contrary to God and His Word. Now, the invitation is given. The altar is open. If you would come, if you would pray.